St. Maarten is a beloved port of call for cruisers and a very popular vacation destination. But starting in summer of 2021, you will be able to sail from St. Maarten if you want to go on a cruise. On this episode of islandjumper.com, I want to go over some must-see and do's for St. Maarten. First off, you probably already know that St. Maarten is divided into two. There's the French side and the Dutch side. And the names are spelled differently, but pronounced pretty close to the same. You can get away with pronouncing them both the same, but they do really want you to spell them correctly. So if you need to get to a hotel or a destination, probably learning the spelling of where you're going, it would be a good idea. Do note that these images are from the before times, so no one is wearing a mask. This is before the shutdown began. Normally, Charlene 7 is very specific list of things that I have really enjoyed and want to share with the cruising community, but St. Maarten is so popular and has so many different things to do. I kind of just had to group things into groupings of things to do because there is a lot to choose from, and I think every time that we've been there, I've never seen less than like 6 large ships in port for that day. So it is a small island that can accommodate a lot of travelers. So number one, if you haven't been to the island before and you don't really already have an idea about something that you want to do, or you don't get an idea from watching different videos, consider taking an island tour. We've used a company called Bernard Tours a couple of times. The first time we went with like strangers in the van. Of course, we weren't strangers by the time the tour ended, and then the second time we went, we had a group of about 8 of us, and we kind of tailored the tour to what we wanted to see, and it is a really good way to see both sides. You'll stop for lunch, there will be a lot of things to see and do, and they'll give you time to do shopping in both spots, and then they will drop you back off at the port, or they can drop you off at shopping on the Dutch side, whichever you prefer. But I would definitely recommend Bernard Tours if you just want a general island tour. Number 2, beaches. There are over 43 miles of coastline and 37 beaches, so there are a lot of beaches to choose from. Some of the fan favorites are Maho Beach, and that's the one that the planes fly over. And depending on the time of year, sometimes that area is a little rocky, and then other times of year it is full of sand. You do want to be really mindful of, they've added some extra layers of fencing since I've been there to kind of help with safety, because there have been some injuries. So be really careful when the planes land and they offshoot a lot of wind. Be really careful when you're in that area. But it is really fun to watch the planes fly overhead, and every time we go back there seems to be more things. It kind of just started with like a bar, and now there's like shops and a couple of different places to eat and a lot of things to do. So the Maho Beach is a favorite, but there are also other beaches, of which there are many, and I will list them here. Lots of fun beach time to do. Do be mindful that some of them are clothing optional. So before you settle in on a beach, you might, if you especially have a family that might be a little bit adverse to clothing optional beaches, you might want to research out a little bit to see which beach would be like best for your family. Number 3, food. So with over 100 nationalities in the two countries on the island of St. Maarten, there are at least before lockdown, there were over 350 restaurants on this small little island. So the range is from like kind of street food to really fancy sit down, country club style places to eat. So definitely this is not the place to go short on your food budget. You definitely want to give the food on St. Maarten a try, because it is phenomenal. Even just like pick up a pastry, like on the French side there's a marketplace. Even if you just pick up a pastry from there, it is just amazing. So 4 and 5, I'm going to combine a little, so it's kind of like nature stuff and adventure stuff. and there are two places that kind of have a hybrid. One is Lottery Farms, and they're on the French side, and they have, when we went there in 2010, they had, it was obstacles and trees, and as soon as you would get up in the first obstacle, and then you would stay in the trees until you finished the last obstacle, and it was maybe like 25 different ones. Some were zip lining, but some were just like obstacles in the air, with cords and that sort of thing, and safety devices and all that. But it was a lot of fun, and I'm a little bit afraid of heights, but I was completely distracted from it because it didn't seem super high, and also because it was so engaging with all the different things to do. They also at the time had a couple of different hiking options, but since then they have just really like built out the facility, and they've got pools, they've got cabanas, they've got restaurants, they've got bars. So they've really become kind of a multi-generational facility. So if you had maybe you had grandparents and parents and children, you could keep everybody active and give them something to do, and everybody still be in the same place for the whole day. So there's another place that also features kind of adventure stuff like that, with zip lining, and it has the Flying Dutchman, which is they claim to be the steepest zip line, but it also has like the little like carriages for buckets of people to take you over things. They've got like some obstacle things. They've also got a restaurant, really great views, and a bar facility. And they are called Adventures at Rock Island Estates, and they are another facility like that. So those two options are really good, especially if you have a multi-generational family. There are also a lot of things, outdoor things, like there's ATV stuff, there's horseback riding that usually gets you in the ocean. So if you want to do a combination of things, there'll be a lot of different excursions that will allow you to do, beach and ATV, or beach and hiking, maybe a little zip lining and a little beach trip. You can combine a lot of stuff and really take advantage of the island when you're there. So I would try to pack in as much things as you can, but definitely you want to leave time for the next thing, number 6, which is shopping. So shopping in St. Maarten is a really big deal, and there's lots of really nice shops, not just jewelry shops, but t-shirt shops, lots of different fun crafts made by local craftsmen. It's called there's an area called Front Street on the Dutch side, and what you'll do is when you get off of the ship, you can take the ferry, and the ferry will dump you right off on the waterway, and back there just go rows and rows of shopping and places to eat and bars. And it's also a place you can just go, and you can rent a chair, or you can just take your towel and throw it down and just sit and hang out all day. But the shopping in the island is really good. There's also, on the French side, they have like a little open marketplace in Marigot, and it's like all open and just separate vendors, and there'll be anything from t-shirts to, I bought like Larimar by the ounce there, and I got some really cool pieces of Larimar. And so there'll just be all kinds of different things. Another time I went, there was some somebody selling some garnet, and apparently there was a little small garnet island on the island, and they were hand cutting them themselves, and so I got a really interesting piece of jewelry that way. Not really expensive, but just really interesting. So shopping is really good, and it's one of the most popular things to do on the islands, is to go shopping on St. Maarten. So number 7, if you have time, especially if you get there a couple of days early before your cruise begins, one of the things you might want to do is take a ferry to one of the other nearby islands, and there's a couple different places you can go, and a couple of places that you can catch the ferry, and I'll put a little map up here for you to kind of see what you can do. But how fun would that be to just take a ferry to another island for a day and just hang out at some other place? It'd be really cool. So obviously, kind of a bonus item is there's a lot of all the traditional water sports. There are just lots of good snorkeling, scuba diving. You put these helmets on, and you can actually walk across the bottom of the ocean. They have a little path that you can stay on. So all kinds of really cool. You can just take a boat, catamaran around the island and enjoy the area. If you can stay there for a sunset, that is amazing too. But usually if you're on a ship and just for the day, you have to get out before the sunset falls, because they usually get you out before then. So So those are 7 things that you might want to consider when you're going to St. Martin. A lot to choose from. It's a really great island. Really excited for everybody who's going to sail out of there. So I would really appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and press the button or press the little bell if you want to get notifications of when I post videos. Sometimes I can have a lot of enthusiasm, and sometimes I might forget to post on a regular basis, so that would remind you that I have a post, because it'll have a little dot by my subscription if you have subscribed. So until next time, live your truth and live well.